Hello everyone. Before we get started, I just wanted to give you a quick update on today's format. So today I'm actually now going to be delivering the session solo, which means it would be quite a bit shorter than the conversational session we'd planned, and we won't have live Q&A or chat open during the webinar. Please do note down any questions that come to mind as we go through. I'm always very happy to continue the conversation afterwards, as I'm always keen to hear about your specific challenges and where you are on your own modern data journey. You can absolutely connect with me on LinkedIn. You can email me directly and I will personally respond. So thank you for your understanding and let's continue. So first off, thank you for joining. I'm Donna Hansen, Data and Analytics Solutions Specialist at Cybit. We specialise in designing and delivering secure, scalable data and analytics platforms for our clients. Amongst many other vendor partners, we work closely with Microsoft and Click Technologies to help organisations modernise their data foundation. That's not just to implement tools, but actually to create trusted platforms that support real decision making. Now, for those of you that know me, I'm not technical. I have a whole team of people I rely on here at Cybit who take care of all the clever stuff for me. But today I am going to be talking about something that sounds technical, so modern data warehousing. Though in reality, in my opinion, it's actually about something much more fundamental, which is trust. Can you trust your data? Can you access it quickly? And can you confidently use it to drive decisions? Because as organizations adopt more systems these days, whether that's more ERP modules, CRM platforms, SaaS applications, the promise with all of those is usually better insight, but the reality is often more fragmentation. So today, I'm going to walk you through what modern data warehousing really means in practice, not just theory, and how organizations like yours are using tools from vendors like Microsoft and Click together to build scalable, trusted foundations for real-time insight. Move on. So before we dive in, let's take a quick look at what I'm hoping to cover today. So we will start with the challenge. And whilst I will and have already mentioned some of the vendor solutions that are tried and tested in this space, if we do not clearly understand the problem, then the solution becomes just another technology project. So then we'll take a look at what modern really means. We'll explore governance, because audit readiness and compliance matter now more than ever. And I will be sharing a real world example so this session can stay practical before circling back on the key takeaways and the next steps for you. Let's just move on. So the modern data reality, does this sound familiar to you? Most organizations I work with have, as a minimum, an ERP system or many, CRM platform. They'll have several different SaaS tools these days and operational systems. They may even have legacy databases still on-prem. So individually, these tools usually all work well and they're often fit for purpose. Collectively, though, they create silos. It's not new to anyone in this industry, I think, that finance can often produce one margin number, operations can see something slightly different, sales will see something else again, and meanwhile, IT will become the reporting bottleneck. So in my opinion, the problem isn't a lack of data, and it's not even a technology issue. It's a trust issue. It's a lack of a single governed, trusted view. So modern data warehousing isn't just moving, I don't know, for example, SQL Server into Azure. It's an approach. In the old world, you may have had manual extracts, lagging reports, conflicting KPIs, like we just said, all leading to fairly reactive decisions, whereas in a modern world, you'd want to aim for automated pipelines, near real-time visibility, a single source of the truth, and all of this should underpin then a more proactive decision-making strategy. Now, to achieve that often means creating a central trusted data layer that integrates all of those ERP, CRM, and SaaS systems automatically. But it should also support your chosen analytics tools like Power BI or ClickSense, and it should definitely support forecasting models and AI. Importantly, one of the things I go on about a lot is it should include governance from the very start, because insight without trust is just risk. So how can we break down those silos? Well, integration isn't about moving data. It's about removing friction from decision making. Many organizations already operate in cloud environments with platforms like Azure providing a scalable infrastructure, but infrastructure alone doesn't solve integration problems. So this is where the data integration products from Microsoft or Qlik come in. For example, Qlik Talent Cloud automates the ingestion of data from all of those sources into cloud data warehouses. These products handle transformation, quality rules, and change data capture. So instead of those nightly batch exports, you can achieve near real-time updates instead. And that's all while still ensuring trusted but automated data movement. And I can't say this enough, governance is absolutely critical. CFOs often tell us that audit preparation for them can take weeks. And it's not because the data is wrong, it's usually because tracing it back to the source is painful. And modern data warehousing changes that. So with data integration products like those from Qlik, you can see the lineage. You can trace a KPI back to its source, follow it through its transformation, and ultimately to its output or report. That reduces audit time, it improves compliance, and it builds executive confidence. So this isn't just about speed, it's about defensibility as well. So when organizations talk about modern data warehousing, the conversation often jumps straight to the tools. Azure versus Snowflake, Qlik versus something else, Fabric versus Synapse, and so on. But I think the more important conversation is what should matter to you as an organization. The first consideration, I think, is business alignment. Is the platform supporting your growth strategy? Are you planning acquisitions or international expansion, maybe an AI initiative? If so, your chosen platform should enable all of that, not restrict it. Then you've got scalability. So data volumes will grow, system complexity will increase. So the platform really must scale without needing a constant redesign. Integration capability is critical. How easily can it connect to your ERP, CRM, or SaaS systems? And does it support change data capture? Does it reduce manual effort? Then, of course, governance and lineage shouldn't be an afterthought. Can you trace that KPI back to source? Can you demonstrate compliance quickly during an audit? Security and compliance are foundational, especially with GDPR and sector regulations. Your data platform really must meet these standards. Performance also matters. If the business expects near real-time insight, then the architecture must support that. And of course, with all of this, there comes cost. So cloud is powerful, but without optimization, it can become very expensive very quickly. So you need visibility and control. And finally, skills and ecosystem. For example, do you already operate in a Microsoft environment? And do you have internal Power BI capability? And if not, are you aligned with partners who understand the technology that you want to use deeply, like Cybit, of course? Um, these questions should drive the decision. So, as an example, once these foundations are clear, this is where combinations like Microsoft and Click make sense, with maybe Microsoft providing enterprise-grade cloud infrastructure to give you that scalability, security, and global compliance coverage. And then something like Click providing AI-powered intelligent data integration, governance, lineage, and automation through Click Talent Cloud. So together, as an example, they address many of the evaluation criteria we've just discussed. But the important thing is, no matter what the technology, it should serve your strategy, not define it. When we talk about modern data warehousing, we also need to talk about architecture patterns. So increasingly, organizations are moving toward what is known as an open data lakehouse approach. They're escaping those traditional warehouses. Data lakes were traditionally flexible, but sometimes difficult to govern, and data warehouses were structured but less flexible and often expensive to scale. So the lakehouse model combines the strengths of both of those. It allows you to store large volumes of both structured and unstructured data in quite cost-effective storage, while still enforcing structure, performance, and governance. The important word here, though, is open. So open standards such as Delta and Parquet ensure you're not locked into a single proprietary engine. And that matters because technology will evolve, vendors will evolve, and undoubtedly your organization will evolve. So an open architecture gives you future-proof flexibility. From a Click perspective, it aligns really well with their intelligent data integration, change data capture and automated pipeline orchestration into those open storage layers. So in this case, the lakehouse becomes a governed foundation with Click ensuring trusted, automated ingestion and lineage. And that's really where modern data warehousing is heading today. So I promised you a real world example that brings some of what I've been talking about to life. So as a benchmark, Jaguar Land Rover sold over 425,000 vehicles across 127 countries in 2020. I think we all know who Jaguar Land Rover are, and they are a global, complex, highly regulated organization. But despite its scale and success, it faced the same challenge many organizations did in 2020 and other challenges that they get now. So COVID disrupted their supply chains and chip shortages threatened production. Also, ongoingly, electric vehicle demand has accelerated and regulatory requirements have increased. So to respond effectively, they needed constant access to accurate real-time data. The problem was that their data landscape was vast and fragmented. They had SAP systems, mainframes, various manufacturing systems, cloud platforms, and literally hundreds of legacy applications, some of which were 15 to 20 years old. Data was being extracted using those traditional batch ETL tools, but they had citizen developers who had built so many manual processes to cope with the requirements of the organization. Information had to be pulled daily from over 1,000 applications and hourly from hundreds more. It was slow, it was manual, and it didn't scale. So they knew they needed to respond faster to regulatory changes across global markets without having to rebuild their entire architecture every time. So they implemented change data capture using Click Replicate to continuously stream data into their data lake. And then instead of relying on external integrators and long project cycles, they automated their replication builds using infrastructure as code. What used to take significant time and coordination isn't now deployed in minutes, and that impact was substantial. They can now feed multiple storage layers in parallel. They support internal analytics and external facing digital platforms at the same time. They respond to regulatory requirements in near real time. So some examples of that: they drastically reduce the time required to prepare their UK VAT submissions. Something that previously took days of manual SAP downloads now takes them minutes. And then in North America, they meet really strict regulatory SLAs by exposing warranty and safety recall data in near real time. They achieve this with a relatively small enterprise data team, which is great. So in terms of that resource cost, the headcount, that didn't really need to change. Today, their data lake holds way over 2 petabytes of data fed by IoT streams, batch ingestion, and real-time change data capture. Whilst that's really impressive, the key takeaway here is not just the technology. They built an automated, scalable, governed data foundation that supports analytics, compliance, and their digital innovation simultaneously. The platform serves the business strategy and not the other way around. I think that's really impressive. So on to practical implementation. I haven't put a huge amount together on this slide because this obviously is going to vary from organization to organization. But what I will say is the biggest mistake I've seen is teams working against the clock and trying to transform everything at once. Instead, I say start with one high impact use case, whether that's cash flow visibility, margin analysis, or maybe even inventory optimization. Build automation around that and prove its value, and then scale. And this is where we at Cybit can guide you on all of this. Okay, so if you take one thing from this brief session today, let it be modern data warehousing is not about buying another tool. It's about building a foundation that you can trust, a foundation that scales, a foundation that reduces manual effort, and supports confident real-time decisions. I find that many organizations don't have a data problem, they have a decision latency problem, which obviously sometimes there are data problems contributing to that. But every manual spreadsheet in your organization is a hidden risk. That governance isn't about control, it's about confidence. So, and remember, if you've got any AI initiatives, AI amplifies whatever foundation you give it. So if your data is fragmented, AI will only amplify that fragmentation and the problems that causes. So I think the biggest mistake we see isn't organizations choosing the wrong platform, it's trying to boil the ocean. So, seeing as this session was a lot shorter than originally planned, hopefully I've given you some time now to think about these 3 questions and to take them back to your organization. 1, do we fully trust the numbers in our board reports? How many times have you been in a boardroom and someone has gone, really? Is that it? Oh, I thought it would have been this. Or maybe if you're one of the people that provides the board reports but doesn't sit in the boardroom, maybe you get the queries after, saying, oh, this was queried, that kind of thing. So ask yourself, do we fully trust the numbers in our board reports? Number 2, How long does it take us to answer an unexpected question? I'm not talking about the stuff that you've built up over the years and you know how to answer because, through trial and error and a lot of fine tuning, you know that you have the right answer. I'm talking about a brand new question that hasn't been posed before, or something that has disrupted how you work as an organization, and you need to be able to respond to that. So, yeah, how long does it take us to answer an unexpected question? And then number 3, could we support AI and advanced analytics tomorrow? But not just could we support it, could we do it confidently? If any of those questions create hesitation for you, the next step is not a product demo, it's a conversation. So we usually begin with a short architecture review. We identify quick wins, governance gaps, and scalability opportunities. From there, we define a practical roadmap. So if that would be valuable, please, please, please reach out to me personally, again on LinkedIn, or feel free to use the contact details for the team here at Cybit as well. Thank you for joining our webinar today. As mentioned, if you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to reach out. Meanwhile, I wish you all the very best of success with your own modernization journeys. Take care.